Hello, I'm Brian Tracy. We're going to get started right on time today. I want to thank you for making it on time. I see the room is filling up and it's very exciting. Please do me a favor and type your name and where you're from in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear. Now, before we get started, I want to stress the importance of having your complete attention over the next hour. This just may be the most important hour you spend this year because it could change your life in ways that you could never imagine. So please shut off your Skype, close the door to your office, close down any messenger programs, and grab a pen and paper. Be ready to take some notes. I promise that in just over the next hour, I'm going to personally walk you through the entire process of how you can become a powerful professional speaker and earn a great living doing it. I'll share the very same strategies and tactics I have personally used to build my multi-million-dollar business. If I promise to give you great content, do I have your permission to take 10 minutes to give you a fantastic offer for you to consider at the end? If that sounds fair, type yes in the chat. This is all up to you, and I won't do it unless I give you information that you can apply in your life right now, and again, only with your permission. And just for sticking around until the end, I will give you an additional free bonus at the end of this free training right after the Q&A. I'm here in the studio and my team is here to help answer questions you have in the chat and at the end of my presentation. Just for sticking around to the end of the training, I'm not only going to give you these slides, but I'm going to hold a Q&A as well so you can ask me anything you like. Just remember to toggle your chat as a question on the left side of the chat so that my team can flag your comment as a question or we might not see it. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a multiple New York Times best-selling author of actually more than 80 books which have been translated into 42 languages. I've consulted for more than 1,000 large companies and more than 10,000 small and medium-sized companies, and I've addressed more than 5 million people in 5,000 talks and seminars throughout the US, Canada, and 80 other countries worldwide. I've written and produced more than 800 audio and video learning programs, including the worldwide best-selling Psychology of Achievement, which has been translated into more than 38 languages. As a keynote speaker and seminar leader, I address more than 250,000 people each year, so I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. I've traveled to more than 120 countries while speaking and training. I speak to corporate and public audiences on the subjects of personal and professional development, including the executives and staff of many of America's and the world's largest corporations. My talks and seminars on leadership, selling, self-esteem, goals, strategy, creativity, and success psychology bring about immediate changes and long-term results. So frankly, I feel I know more about teaching someone how to make a six-figure living as a speaker better than anyone in the world. I've done it, I know how to teach it, and more importantly, I have hundreds, even thousands of students that have gone on to have incredible success as speakers. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. I probably know almost every leading expert in speaking in the world today, and two of my good friends say this about me. One is Mark Victor Hansen, and he's the co-creator of Chicken Soup for the Soul, which has sold 500 million books. And he wrote about me, if you want to be a great and inspiring speaker, you want to study with the best of the best. Brian Tracy is a superstar from the platform. He is the man to study as he teaches you step by step how to go from nowhere to somewhere great in the speaking business. No one can do it better than Brian, which is an incredible compliment coming from Mark. And then there's my friend Jim Cathcart, past president of NSA, professional speaker for almost 40 years, and he said, personal success and Brian Tracy are synonymous. Nobody I know can teach you more about how to achieve and succeed than Brian. He makes the case clearly and then proves it in his own remarkable life. If he recommends it, do it. He knows what he's talking about. When it comes to speaking, I learned the hard way. Things were not always easy for me to get on stage, and in the early days, I wasn't effective, nor was I getting paid very well. In fact, I did a lot of free talks in the early days, and my first paid talk I received $150 for, and it took me 2 months to get paid. And that's because I had yet to learn and apply the 4-part system that I'll be covering in training in just a moment. But now you can take a shortcut. You can learn only the good stuff without years and expenses that I had to endure to learn this powerful method. In fact, sometimes when I talk about speaking, I say when I started speaking, I learned how to sell again. I sold my house, I sold my car, I sold my furniture, I sold all my savings accounts in order to have enough money to keep on speaking until I finally made more than it was costing me. And anybody who's been in speaking will know what I'm talking about. Now, the good news is that like all other skills, professional speaking skills are learnable. Just like you can learn to sell, you can learn how to make money, you can learn how to trade stocks or real estate, you can learn how to become an excellent professional speaker. I know because I've taught myself, but I've also taught thousands of people all over the world who have gone on to get standing ovations and make extraordinary livings in this field. You also don't need to do this full time. You can use it to supplement your income. Many people speak a couple of times a month, and they earn more from speaking than they do from their full-time jobs. So even if you have fears of speaking in public, don't worry, so did I once. In fact, one of my friends, who's now a top speaker nationwide, when he got up to speak for the first time, he wet his pants on the stage and had to run off the stage to change. That was his first talk. Today he speaks to audiences of 5,000 or more, and he's fast, he's funny, he's quick, and he's extremely well paid. So I'm going to cover how my students and I used to feel the same way, nervous, shy, uneasy, tense, stressed, and so on, and how we overcame our fears while putting more money in our bank accounts than we ever dreamed possible. And I've developed some methods and a system, which we'll talk about later, to basically eliminate your fears in a matter of seconds. No matter how terrified you are of speaking, we found some techniques that have been developed over the decades, if you like, that work for everybody. Now, why should you be speaking professionally? Number one, you get to share your message and your expertise and make the world a better place. You can actually have a profound effect on people's lives. One of the most common things that I hear virtually every time I speak, and sometimes several times, is, "You changed my life. This talk changed my life. I never heard that before. You have changed my life. I'm going to do things differently from now on." And then the wonderful thing is, because I go around the world and I speak in different places again and again, sometimes over 20 or 30 years, people come up to me who were poor and struggling when they came to my seminar the first time. And I can tell you some fabulous stories of people who were so poor they had to have a friend buy their ticket to come to the seminar. And today they're rich. Today they're millionaires. Today they own businesses with multiple branches. They have lovely homes and wives and children. They're just having such an extraordinary life. And before, they were going nowhere. And I hear those stories literally hundreds, thousands of times. Now, the second reason you should be speaking professionally, it's the perfect way to supplement your income or make a full-time 6-figure income. It's the highest paid profession in the world. I calculated this out some time ago, and I worked out that you can often make $1,000 a minute or more as a speaker. A couple of years ago, I was brought down to Chicago to fill a time slot for a live audience, and it was 14 minutes. And they were serious. It's on and off in 14 minutes, or the microphone would go dead. And they paid me $15,000 for a 14-minute talk. And they were happy, and I was happy. Now, number 3, you get to travel the world and see places that you've only dreamed of. You can stay at excellent hotels. You can do marvelous things as a speaker. And why not take your family along? I do. I've taken my family all over the world, around the world. I just took my daughter to Korea and China and back again. Recently, I took my wife all over South America. I've taken my kids, all 4 of them, who are now in their 20s and 30s. I've taken them around the world. where we go right around the world from San Diego and end up back in San Diego in 15 or 17 days. It's quite extraordinary. And the best part is, as a speaker, if you have assistants coming along with you, many or if not all of your expenses are tax deductible. And in some cases, you can have the event that invited you cover all of your expenses. So it's a wonderful win-win for you and for everybody else. Now, number 4 is speaking builds your brand and your credibility. This is one of the most important things to understand. Some speakers earn $500, $750, $1,000 a talk, and some speakers earn 10 times that amount. What is the difference? Is they speak. They speak to large audiences, and by speaking to large audiences, people believe that you must be an expert in your field, and people will pay 10 times more for the expert than they will for the journeyman. So number 5, speaking finds you more leads and more customers. Here's something I joke about. I say that when you speak on your feet and speak well, people actually think that you're smarter than you really are. When you are booked to speak to a large or even a small audience with business people in the audience, they think that you must be a real expert in the field, and therefore they're willing to pay you an enormous amount of money. I've seen speakers who basically couldn't pay their bills be offered $5,000 and $10,000 and $25,000 to speak just because they gave a good talk to an important audience. The 6th reason why you should be speaking professionally is that speaking is one of the best and easiest ways to sell high-end training programs, coaching or consulting, anywhere from $300 to $3,000. And I was talking to a coach the other day who sells $30,000 training programs from the stage. In fact, it's by far the highest paid per hour profession that I'm aware of. One of my best friends, who was the founder of the National Speakers Association, never charged for a speaking engagement in his life, and he made more than $1 million a year simply by selling audio and video programs and books and learning programs from the stage. In fact, he would sell anywhere, whether he was paid or not, if he could just have an opportunity to introduce people to his programs. And he set records for everybody. So shift your mindset and focus to the business of speaking. And the business of speaking turns out to be the business of marketing. As my friend Dan Kennedy says, whatever business you're in the marketing business, because you could be the most brilliant speaker, but if you don't market properly, then you spend a lot of time sitting at home watching television. The amount of money you will earn from speaking is in direct proportion to the effect that you will have in marketing and positioning yourself as a speaker, and to the ultimate effect that you have on your audience. Now, let me give you a couple of thoughts about professional speaking. First off, it's okay if you think speaking is hard and if you tried it and it did not go well. This happens to everybody. Afterwards, you want to go home and never speak again. But it's normal. It goes with the territory. And by the way, you're not alone in that. Over the years, I've seen many good people get on stage and fail, so much so that they never wanted to try it again. And I've taken them aside and spoken to them, and people have taken me aside and spoken to me and given me a little bit of advice and guidance that changed my attitude towards speaking completely, which is what I will give you. The reason that people fail is they don't have the right game plan to approach this as a real business. They don't realize that the speaking is the tip of the iceberg. It's the 10% of the entire process. The other 90% is everything you do up to the speech and during the speech and sometimes after the speech. And finally, the worst of all is they either had no training or worse, they were trained by someone who just did not know the business or even how to teach it. It's quite amazing. I read articles and stories and advertisements every month by people who are not speakers who are offering to teach speaking. And they charge enormous amounts of money and assure people that they're going to become great successes in speaking, and they have done it themselves, which is really quite phenomenal. So now close your eyes and imagine this for me, if you will. Imagine what your life would be like if you just got off stage and were presented with a 4 or 5 figure check. Yes, I mean $10,000 or more. And what if you were speaking just one time per month and getting those checks every time? What would your life be like? And the answer is, your life would be extraordinary. Imagine if you were made that kind of money, you'd never have to worry about retirement or your bills being late. Better yet, you would be debt-free. You'd pay off your mortgage early. You'd put your kids in the best schools. You'd drive the cars you like. You'd take vacations in beautiful places. Take that in. Really see yourself there, because that's exactly what happened to me and many of my very good friends in speaking. Almost every one of them, like Tony Robbins, started off sleeping in a bathtub. Almost everybody starts off sleeping in their car or in a small apartment, and they achieved all those things. They started to make more money than they ever dreamed of. Now, open your eyes. Frankly, I don't have to tell you what to do with six figures. I'm sure you know where it would go better than me. But success is all around you, so ask yourself, why not me? Isn't it my time? I promise you today is your time, and I'm excited to teach you the 4 steps to become a six-figure speaker. Do you want to know the 4 secrets? Type yes in the chat. I want to make sure you guys are energized and really ready to make a change in your current state and life. Wow, I see that enormous number of people are typing yes in the chat. So let's get going. Let's move on here and let's get into what we're talking about. Here are the 4 steps to becoming a six-figure speaker. Step 1 is determining your speaking topic and how much you can charge. And the foundation of this is value, value, value as determined by your potential audience. Step 2 is finding speaking engagements. How do you get booked? Step 3 is marketing yourself. How do you position and market yourself as a speaker so you start to attract people and they start to come to you? And step 4 is negotiating speaking engagements. It's interesting, before I came down to do this today, I had 2 emails and 1 phone call from potential clients who wanted to negotiate a speaking engagement. And it's very important, because if you do it properly, you can earn vastly more than if you don't. So now that we know the 4 steps to becoming a six-figure speaker, let's break them down. Step 1 is determining your speaking topic and how much you should charge for that topic. The way you make money as a speaker is to provide value and solutions to your audience in the form of the message and subject you are passionate about. Remember this, people buy the emotion you feel about your subject more than anything else. They will forget the words, and they will forget the way you look, but they will remember how strongly you feel about what you're teaching. By the way, this is one of the reasons I tell people, don't speak about something that you don't care about. If there's no emotion there, there's going to be no authenticity, there's going to be no connection. People are going to check their phones while you're talking and so on. But if you're emotional, and I've seen speakers who are terrible speakers, I mean it, and they got up there and they just looked at the audience and spoke from their heart, and the audience was dead silent and gave them a standing ovation afterwards. And I don't remember a word of what the speaker said, but geez, I remember how passionately he felt about his subject. So you make money by bridging the gap between where your clients are today and where they can and will be in the future, using the valuable insights and solutions you provide them in your talk. The first step to delivering a powerful talk is determining the right topic. And the foundation of this is value, value, value. To provide the highest amount of value to your audience and your clients, you must first identify what it is that you're an expert on. What subject are you most knowledgeable about? What kind of advice do people ask you for? What subject are you most passionate about? This is your speaking topic. So in order to land speaking engagements, you need to position yourself as the expert authority on your subject, which means you need to actually be the expert authority on your subject. You need to know your subject inside and out and prepare thoroughly in advance so that your audience immediately knows you as the expert and thought leader on your subject within the first minute you start speaking. I have to tell you a quick story. I went to a seminar at a very high-level conference, and it was attended by presidents and wealthy people, like about 75 of them. And there's a very nice man who was speaking. He's getting paid about $25,000, and his subject was on tea. He loved the subject of tea. He had studied tea and tea making. He had bought teas. He had traveled to India and China to purchase exotic teas. And then he had this wonderful seminar with PowerPoints and photographs where he showed people where tea came from and the history of tea and the different tastes of tea. And here's this bunch of executives, and probably none of them drank tea, or very, very little, but all of us were absolutely fascinated. Everybody wanted to talk to him afterwards. Everybody respected this man because he was speaking about something he really loved. So you don't have to be talking about making $1 jillion in the stock market. You just have to be talking about a subject that people are interested in and that you really care about. In public speaking, people can immediately tell if you lack a depth of knowledge on your subject, and they sense this by how well you are prepared or not. So before giving your speech, do research on your audience and find out everything you can about them. Here are some research elements you need to find out about your audience before you speak. You want to know their ages or their age ranges. You want to know the gender ratio, how many men, how many women. You want to know their occupations, and you want to know their average income or average income ranges and their level of education. This will tell you a lot about what to put into your talk. So, for example, if you're giving a 2,000-word speech about 20 minutes on the subject of time management, then you need to read, research, and know 200,000 words worth of information about time management. When I developed my first time management course, I researched for about a year before I was ready to put it together. Don't make the mistake of not preparing in advance, or you'll immediately lose your audience's attention and respect, and in return you lose your credibility. With that being said, not only do you need to thoroughly prepare on your speaking subject in advance, but you also need to prepare for whom you will be speaking to. The way you craft and deliver your speech will not be the same for every audience, even if it's on the same subject matter. So determining your speaking topic and how much you should charge. The formula for setting your fees for specific speaking engagements depends on the following 7 factors. Number 1, your level of expertise on your subject. Number 2, the length of your talk. Number 3, how many times you will be speaking to this group. Number 4, if you are able to sell from the stage at the conclusion of your talk. Some speakers will not speak unless they can sell their product later on. Number 5, the location where you will be speaking. Number 6, the size of the audience you will be speaking to determines your topic and how much you should charge. And number 7, the potential to gain new clients from the engagement. I gave a talk for a very small amount to a large professional group some years ago, and they told me that if you give a good talk, you'll get at least 20 engagements at your full fee from this talk. And that was the hook that they used, all speakers. So I did, and I did. I worked in that industry for the next 20 years, and I still work in that industry at very high fees because the first one was given to the room full of experts who then talked about the talk, spread the video, spread the audio year after year after year. So sometimes you can speak for nothing if the people in the audience are good potential clients. Many people have been booked for an entire year after one good speech to a room full of people who have the ability to book you. Remember, I'm going to give you these slides at the end, but get ready to take notes here. Writing notes helps reinforce ideas, and you'll retain this information much better. So, was that helpful so far? However, if you're just starting out in your career, the best way to price yourself as a speaker is to find out what your competitors are charging. Who else is speaking on the same subject matter? How much experience do they have? How much are they charging? Is your level of expertise and experience comparable to theirs? If so, your speaking fee should reflect theirs. Your fees need to be competitive, and staying competitive does not mean pricing yourself beneath what your competitors are charging. It simply means positioning yourself as the better option. If you start to undercut your pricing just to beat out your competitors, you'll be sending a message that can devalue your quality as a speaker. So if your competitor who has the same level of credibility and experience that you do is charging $5,000 for a 90-minute keynote speech, then you should also be charging $5,000 for a 90-minute keynote speech. The key here is not to charge less, but to offer more. And this is all done by how you market and position yourself as a speaker. Your goal is to position yourself as the better option by making sure that the perceived and actual value that you provide is much higher than your competition. You can do this by offering a bonus, or offering to speak for longer, or reducing the risk of investment. One way to do this is to offer a risk reversal guarantee. For example, when you're negotiating with the event host, what we call the meeting planner, you can say, "I always over-deliver, and because of that, I'm so sure that you'll be extremely satisfied with the value I provide that I'm willing to guarantee it. If for any reason you are not 100% satisfied, I will refund my speaking fee in full." This is a powerful incentive, and it also builds your credibility and confidence as a speaker. I got my first job speaking for a Fortune 500 company by using this risk reversal clause. They were very hesitant to hire a relatively unknown speaker, but it was only when I offered to speak for a lower fee and unconditionally guarantee my talk that they agreed. From then on, I used the credibility from speaking for that group to speak to other Fortune 500 companies. You need to set yourself apart from your competition with your own unique value proposition, whether it's a risk reversal guarantee or a free gift for the audience. Whatever it is, it must be clear in your positioning. If that was helpful so far, let me know we're on the same page. Please type yes in the chat. I get my energy from your engagement, so let me know how you're feeling. Great. Now that is just the first step. We have 3 more to go, so let's knock them out. Wow. Okay, I see you all typing yeses and so much more. I can't even keep up. So that's great. We are connecting. I told you you can do this. Fantastic. Now let's move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is finding speaking engagements. If you already have experience speaking, then you may already know that your best leads for future engagements are in your audience. Next time you deliver a talk, network with some audience members after your talk to see if any of them are interested in hiring you to speak in the future. You also get more speaking engagements by asking the organizer of the speaking event you've spoken at to refer you to someone else who may also be interested in hiring you to speak. One of the most common questions I get asked by people who want to become professional speakers is, how do I find speaking engagements? Where do I look? The answer is everywhere. According to the statistics, there are more than 3 million paid speaking engagements in America alone every year. They are everywhere. Every club, every association, every corporation, every convention has need for speakers and sometimes several speakers. So the possibilities are everywhere. The good news is that finding speaking engagements and clients is far easier today than it's ever been before. You can find speaking engagements anywhere and everywhere. It's just a matter of knowing where to look. This is something I cover in depth in my 6-figure training programming, but I'll touch on a few of them now. First of all, find clubs and business associations in your geographical area that hold regular weekly or monthly meetings where they bring in a speaker. And by the way, just getting an opportunity to speak, even without being paid, is worth its weight in gold. Almost all speakers come from someone having heard them. 85 to 90%, according to our research, of speaking engagements come from someone who heard someone speak and went up and said, "Could you give that talk to my audience?" Or, "How much would you charge to give that talk to my audience?" You can join business network groups, manufacturers associations, real estate, insurance, anywhere where there's large numbers of people who work in the industry who need training in a whole series of subjects for personal productivity and effectiveness. Now, let's talk about the third step to earning a 6-figure speaking income, which is how to position and market yourself as a speaker. There are thousands of ways to do this, and I'll share a few of them with you now. As you know, we are living in the age of advanced technology, in which people are creating, searching, finding, and spreading information faster, easier, and in more ways than ever before. One of the most important marketing assets you absolutely must have is an online presence. When I speak to clients who are thinking of booking me, I can always hear in the background, click, 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 click. Because everything I say to them, I spoke for company X, they go click, click, click to find out what that company was. If I say that I've been in business this period amount of time, they will click, click, click. And everything that I'm saying to them, they're pulling up. And the first thing a person does when they hear a speaker is they immediately, right on their Google, on their iPhone, they immediately check the speaker's background. And on the speaker's website, there must be opening a video that grabs the interested client and holds their attention the entire time. So you need to make it very easy and convenient for people to find information about you, your expertise, and what you offer. And as you know, the internet is the #1 place where people go when they're trying to find information. So make sure that you have a website and valuable content for visitors. With social media platforms, search engines, and rapid word-of-mouth marketing, there are no limits to how you can market yourself as an expert and as a speaker. Also, in today's world, people are now consuming information in almost every format, from large seminars, business conferences, to digital webinars, podcasts, and of course, online video. Just think about how many people have become overnight YouTube sensations. And by the way, I speak all over the world, and people come up to me every single day that I'm working and tell me that they checked me out, they saw me, they booked me because of something that appeared on YouTube. Anytime you speak anywhere, somebody, even in the audience, is going to video it and put it on YouTube before you get back to your car. And so therefore, anything you put on YouTube starts to become a marketing device for you. Bottom line, there's never been more opportunities for you to get your expertise out to the public than there are today. It's just a matter of having the right marketing assets that you'll need. You also need a social media presence. You should also be using social media. As a speaker, having a social media presence is very helpful for finding your target market and extending your reach by getting your message out there and in front of more people. So to recap step 3, for your online assets, you must have one or more of the following: an online presence, a website, a blog, social media interaction like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and so on. The more people see your face or hear you or see you speak, the more likely it is they will think of you when they want to book a speaker. Step 4, the final step, is negotiating speaking engagements. And there are entire 2- and 3-day seminars that cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for professional speakers just on this subject alone because it's so important. Now, we say it's time to get paid. There are a lot of different ways you can negotiate a speaking engagement, especially when you're first starting out. If your potential client is trying to negotiate for a lesser fee, consider what you can do to make the deal fair for both parties. There are many ways for you to negotiate with clients to find the right deal for both of you. The key is to not sell yourself short under any circumstances. This also means not saying yes to every deal. Let's do some math. Generally speaking, most entry-level speakers start out charging $2,500 for a 60 to 90-minute keynote speech. This is the average standard rate for speakers who are new to the paid engagement game. Speakers who are more advanced and have more experience generally charge around $5,000 to $7,500 for a 60 to 90-minute keynote speech. If your goal is to earn $100,000 annual income as a speaker, then you divide that goal by your speaking fee, which will give you the number of engagements you need to book in a year to reach your income goal. So if you're a new speaker, for example, and you charge $2,500 per keynote speech, and you want to earn $100,000 per year as a speaker, then you need to book roughly 3 to 4 engagements per month. You can also use this formula in reverse to find out what speaking fee you need to work your way up to. If you want to speak once a month and earn $100,000 annual income from speaking, then you'll need to work toward a $7,500 speaking fee. You have to prove that you are worth what you're charging, and you do that by gaining experience at lower rates and then raising your fees to work your way up the price ladder. So do me a favor, type in the chat what you think your speaking engagement fee will start out as. If you plan to speak about 15 to 20 times per year, when you get rolling doing what I told you so far, multiply your fee times the number of times you will speak in a year. Do me a favor and type that number in the chat. One of the biggest mistakes speakers make is not knowing when to raise their fees. Raising your fees is uncomfortable at first, and it requires you to move outside of your comfort zone. The most important part of negotiating a higher speaking fee is for you to be 100% confident and comfortable in the fee you charge. If you don't believe you are worth what you charge, no one else will believe you either. They won't believe that you're worth more either. So trust your gut. Don't be afraid to say no if the deal isn't worth it to you. Don't undercut your fees just to get the job. This will devalue your credibility as a speaker immediately, and you'll not even be happy with the engagement. Wow, I'm seeing the chat blow up with your fees, and just look at your annual incomes there. You are all amazing me. This is one of the most energized groups I've spoken to in a long time. Good for you. Now remember, this is only when you are starting out. Soon after your first year, you can raise your fees as people will be seeking you out and you get more referrals than you can handle. Then you can pick and choose the events that meet your lifestyle, just like I do, all while making money in the highest paid profession in the world. Let's recap the 4 steps to becoming a 6-figure speaker. You have learned step 1, how to determine your speaking topic and how much you can charge. And the foundation of this is value, value, value to the listener. Step 2, you've learned how to find speaking engagements, or at least the beginning of the process. Step 3, marketing yourself. You learned how to position and market yourself as a speaker in a competitive market. And step 4, you've learned how to negotiate speaking engagements. So now you know the 4 steps to becoming a 6-figure speaker, what I call the highest paid profession in the world. So this is the end of the content, but stick around. We're about to answer your questions. This is the most fun part of the day, so don't leave. Some of the best content comes from the questions and answers. Some of the most helpful content for you is coming up. Now remember, this was to show you what to do to become a speaker, and we had limited time. What I would like to do next is to talk to you about how you can become a high-paid speaker with some in-depth training. But first, please type yes in the chat if you think speaking is for you so that you can join the highest paid profession in the world. So, did I earn the right to spend 10 minutes talking about how we can work together? Type yes in the chat if you think that was fair for the training that we did today. Wow, everybody's writing really nice things. Thank you very much. You guys are making me really happy about this content. Now, before I talk about my program, which I promise will blow you away in value from not only what you get, but for how little of an investment you have to get started today with my special offer. But before that, I want to show you what some of my students have done once going through this step-by-step training program I have for you. Let's take a listen.
I would also like you to know that there are many public speaking courses you can take from. The best, the one that changed my life, was Brian Tracy's course.
The biggest thing I've taken away from this is really just learn the art of public speaking from who I consider one of the best.
I'm walking away energized, knowing that the next speeches that I give will be blockbusters.
And it is the best investment I have ever made in my life. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate this incredible program.
Well, this is for people who have a great message and want to share it with as many people as possible. There's a small investment, but as you can see, when you go through my program, these are the results you can expect. I will need you to commit for about an hour a day for 14 to 21 days. Over the next 2 consecutive weeks, I will personally deliver the 6-figure speaker training through a sequence of online video modules. You will find these specific concepts in each video to be very easy to absorb and implement because I will clearly outline each step for you. In addition, you will get action guides with each video training module to further enhance your ability to fully integrate all of the strategies. Plus, I'm including 4 additional free bonus videos so that you can master 8 hidden communication signals. Here's just a sampling of the winning strategies you'll discover in the 6-figure speaker course. So let me describe my 14-day 6-figure speaker virtual training course, something that's taken me almost 40 years and more than 5,000 presentations to develop. Also, I have taught this to high-level executives for thousands of dollars a day, just some of these ideas. What you get is everything in one place. Day 1, speaking as a learnable skill. The key one-word skill to unlocking all your future success. The number 1 reason people fail as public speakers. The most essential ingredient you must know before you ever speak a word. Day 2, the 4 Ds. 3 elements of persuasion, and 3 components of your message. The 4 Ds that will assure that you deliver an A+ speech every time. Aristotle's secret to 3 almost magical components of persuasion. Why the words you speak only account for 7% of the power of your message. Day 3, you'll learn preparation in advance and knowing your audience. The one thing all great speakers have in common. The most essential thing to keep in mind for every speech you give, and the surprisingly simple 9-point blueprint for always delivering a high-quality speech. Day 4, you'll learn powerful preparation methods, the blank sheet of paper method for nailing your speech every time, the pinpoint PREP, P-R-E-P formula for always being clear about every point of your presentation in order, and how windshield wipers and circles add up to incredibly effective preparation for your presentation. Day 5, you'll learn how to get and negotiate speaking engagements. You'll learn where to find the best speaking opportunities, the exact formula to book $100,000 and more in annual income as a speaker, and the secret to earning additional income at the event on top of your speaking fees. For every speech that I gave, for more than 20 years, I earned $50,000 to $100,000 in addition from products I sold from the stage that were available at the back of the room. And if that's exciting, you are going to love the bonus where I teach this to you in detail, word for word. On day 6, you'll learn overcoming fear of public speaking. You'll learn the 3-letter word that can instantly increase your confidence and decrease your fear. The comforting 7x7x7 method to quickly achieve quiet, calm confidence before you speak in front of an audience. You'll learn the 5 easy fear busters that will help you to banish nerves every time you give a speech. Now, if you feel I'm going too fast for you, don't worry, because in a few more moments you're going to see a button that you can press and you can just download everything that we're talking about here on one page. So day 7, you'll learn eye contact and the flick, and head tilts and head nods. You'll learn the skill of direct eye contact and how to practice it. The number 1 must-know technique for skilled communicators and how to practice it. You'll learn a simple but extremely effective trick for improved conversation engagement and active listening. On day 8, you'll learn the 4 techniques for building confidence and competence, the 3 most powerful words for instantly boosting your confidence, how to see your way to a dynamic and riveting presentation, how to fool your brain into propelling you to calm, confident clarity in front of any audience. And I used this when I first spoke to an audience of 23,000 people at a major stadium. Whew, it was really, really helpful. On day 9, you will learn vocal techniques for vocal mastery. You'll learn how to use your voice to establish credibility, authority, and trust without sounding like a drill sergeant in the process. Remember, slow and steady wins the race, and when to overdo it to do it well. On day 10, you will learn the power of the pause. Can silence really be golden when it's time to give a speech? How to magnetize your listeners' attention so that they never wander away mentally during your talk, and how to instantly engage your audience more fully by saying something they already know. On day 11, you will learn the importance of your close, beginning with the end in mind. Why every talk you give should have a powerful call to action at the end, and why stillness is critical at the end of your speech. On day 12, you will learn mastering the art of public speaking. You'll learn what to do when things go wrong. You'll learn how to get a standing ovation with your presentation, and you'll learn the old saying, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. On day 13, you'll learn how to speak on camera, and this is absolutely vital to your success. Many speakers now speak almost always on camera and only on camera, and they're some of the highest paid speakers in the world. Video has become one of the most powerful marketing tools ever created. So you have to watch what you wear when you stand in front of a video, because colors have to not only blend but match and look professional. And you have to know what you're trying to achieve when you're delivering a video message. And finally, day 14, body language to use and avoid, and vocal and verbal reassurance. You'll learn how to read your audience's degree of interest through their body language. You'll learn the no-fail bullseye method. You'll learn body language that affects people negatively and how to avoid it. And you'll learn how to become a charming conversationalist on any occasion. So let's review the 14 things that you will learn in the 14-day program, or longer if you want to take longer. The six-figure speaker virtual training course. Number 1, speaking is a learnable skill. Number 2, the 4 Ds, 3 elements of persuasion, and 3 components of your message. Number 3, preparing in advance and knowing your audience. Number 4, powerful preparation methods. Number 5, how to get and negotiate speaking engagements. Number 6, overcoming the fear of public speaking. Number 7, eye contact and the flick, and head tilts and head nods. Number 8, 4 techniques for building confidence and competence. Number 9, vocal techniques for vocal mastery. Number 10, the power of the pause. This is perhaps the most powerful speaking device that most people don't know about. Number 11, the importance of your close, the call to action. Number 12, mastering the art of public speaking. Number 13, how to speak on camera, which could make you rich. And number 14, body language to use and avoid, and vocal and verbal reassurance. Now, as you notice, this is worth a lot of money. I could and have easily sold this at the back of the room for $1,995, $2,000, but I want to assure you, you're not going to pay that amount. And also, I have some additional bonuses that you're going to get that will just blow you away. Let me tell you what they are. First, the written module, How to Sell from the Stage. Basically, a step-by-step, word-for-word process to sell whatever product or service that you have from the stage. And again, you can make more, as I have, from the selling from the stage than from your speaking fee. Second bonus is you receive a fully comprehensive 156-page course workbook. This workbook includes course action guides for each video lesson to help you stay on track. Number 3 bonus, copies of my personal speaking contracts. You'll get real copies of my personal contracts from past speaking engagements I've done for large corporations and organizations such as Lululemon, Edward Jones, IBM, and thousands of other companies. You can use these as a guide for creating your own speaking contracts. I have so many people asking me for this alone, I could probably sell this for $997. In fact, if you went to a lawyer to have them draw up a speaking contract, they'd probably charge you $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 for what I just give you as part of this program. Number 4, you get done-for-you speaking contract downloadable templates. All you have to do is customize these templates and fill in the blanks for each of your engagements. Number 5, you receive my full list of recommended resources for finding speaking engagements. This includes specific clubs, organizations, directories, bureaus, nonprofits, networking groups, websites, and other tools that you can use to find engagements. Number 6, you receive copies of my pre-engagement questionnaires. Again, this is worth a fortune. These are my personal documents that I've used with thousands of past clients to negotiate fees and land engagements with large corporations and organizations. Number 7, you receive done-for-you pre-engagement questionnaire downloadable templates. This template includes sample speaking questions that you can customize and send out to clients who want to hire you to speak. Number 8, you receive my list of audience-free giveaway ideas. This is a full list of giveaway ideas you can use to capture audience contact information, provide additional value, and add even more credibility to hiring you. This is one of the easiest ways to building an email list that I have ever discovered. Number 9, you receive copies of my product order forms. These are real copies of order forms that I've used to sell millions of dollars of products and services from the stage and collect buyer information for sales processing and for my database and for follow-up mailing. You can use this as a guide to creating your own order forms. Number 10, you receive done-for-you order form downloadable templates. You can use and customize these templates for your own products and services when you're selling from the stage, and you can change them for every audience and every combination of products. Number 11, you receive step-by-step guide for creating your powerful talk and presentation. This guide walks you through the entire process of outlining your message, creating your talk, organizing your presentation, and delivering a powerful close, all pre-done for you before you get up to speak. This bonus alone could be a course by itself and worth a fortune. Number 12, you receive a copy of my event packing list. This is a detailed list of everything I bring to my engagements. You can use this list to ensure that you have everything you need and are thoroughly prepared for every engagement. Number 13, you receive my book, Speak to Win. This 208-page hardcover book covers additional secrets and strategies for influencing, persuading, and negotiating as a powerful speaker. Number 14, my audio CD, Speak on Your Feet. This 1-hour audio program covers techniques for keeping your audience's engagement, incorporating humor and storytelling into your talks, and getting a standing ovation every time. And number 15, you get exclusive access to my 6-figure speaker members-only group. This group is open exclusively to members of this program. In it, I'll post discussion questions, tips, and other valuable information. Plus, you can interact with other members to share ideas and get your most pressing questions answered immediately. So let's recap the special offer that I have for you today. Now, first, the 6-figure speaker virtual training course, a $997 value, which I just explained to you. Second, a bonus written module, How to Sell from the Stage, a $297 value that friends of mine in speaking sell for $500 and $1,000. And third, all of my bonus workbooks, templates, contracts, audience giveaways, etc. Literally too much to list here, a $3,000 value. The total value of everything I've shown you today is $4,294, but it's yours today for only $997. But I'll make it even better for you today. If you promise that when you enroll today, that when you have success like my other students have, that you will contact me and share your story with me. If I can use your success as a case study in the future, I'm willing to reciprocate today for the next 30 people only, and only before this webinar ends today, to take off an additional $500 for you so that you can get access to everything I showed you today for only $497 one time. That's it. You get the full training course, all the bonuses, the discount of nearly 90% off the value for just $497, and you have access as long as you want, as well as my full 30-day money-back guarantee. You simply can't beat that. But literally, as we are speaking, the sales are flying into our shopping cart. So make sure to act now, because we're about to start the Q&A, and I cannot guarantee the $500 savings will last before the Q&A ends. So click that button you see near the chat, and don't let anyone else beat you to it. Don't think too long. Rewards go to those who take action and make decisions like these, and make decisions now. Okay, let's start that Q&A. And remember, the slides will be given when the Q&A is done. My team has been gathering these questions, and here's the first participant. He says, I love speaking to the public or addressing large groups of people. One thing I struggle with is engaging with the crowd to keep them captivated. I sometimes find myself rambling on and not asking them for feedback or input often enough. I love an interactive crowd. Is it repeated practice, or is there more to it? Do you cover how to do my talk step by step? And the answer is yes. What we show you how to do is to open with silence and a question, and with a benefit for the audience to listen to the upcoming talk. And then throughout the entire talk, you will pause, ask a question, and ask them for their feedback. One of the things that I do is I ask them to turn to the person next to them and give them the answer to the question that you just posed. And when they give the answer, let them talk about it for 30 to 60 seconds, and then bring them back and continue, so they're always fully engaged, like gears that have been shifted. You do this on a regular basis, and it's quite amazing. People will be fully engaged in everything that you say. They'll love your talk, and this is one of the best ways to get a standing ovation. Here's the next question I've just received, is how do I define my edge? By edge, I mean the value that I can bring to people. Well, we call this in marketing, we call this your value proposition. The value proposition is the difference that your talk is going to make in the life and work of the person you're talking to. In other words, people come to a seminar to hear you because they expect to be different afterwards. They expect to be able to do things differently and get better results that are important. I always make a point in my business, sales, marketing, seminars, I always make it a point in my own preparation to be sure that people can get 10 times the value back from my talk with the techniques that I give them. So I avoid theory, I avoid academia, I avoid long stories. I say, here's how you do it, and here's the words that you say. Here's the problem, here's the solution. So I call this the windshield wiper. Here's the problem, here's the solution. Here is the goal that people hit, here's what you do. And if you do this back and forth, idea or problem plus solution and action, people will be intrigued with everything that you say right to the end of your talk. Here's another question, and this is something that we cover in the course in great detail. The listener says, I want to be a professional speaker, but the problem is I cannot face the public. Whenever I try, everything disappears from my mind. Do you cover this in the training? And the answer is yes. And it goes back to our how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. Almost everyone starts off really shy in front of an audience, almost paralyzed like a deer in the headlights. And what you learn is step by step, working with your friends and your family, practicing in front of one or two people, just sharing your ideas, not even giving a presentation until you feel comfortable talking about something you enjoy. Then what you have is a list of just bullet points, not written out, but bullet points. So when you stand to speak, you put your hand on the first bullet point and glance down. And the first bullet point is very much like starting an outboard engine. Run! As soon as you give the first bullet point, your whole mind falls into gear, and you start to give your whole talk smoothly and naturally. And we'll teach you step by step everything you need to do to achieve this. And the best cure I have found for fear of speaking in public is getting a standing ovation. One standing ovation will last you for an entire career, and I'm going to show you how to get a standing ovation almost every single time. I have used these techniques, by the way, all over the world, in every nationality and culture, every language that you can imagine, and I get standing ovations 9 out of 10 times, and sometimes I get 2 and 3 standing ovations from the same audience during the same talk. And I'll show you exactly how we do this. Remember, we only have 30 bonuses available, and they're going very quickly. You can actually hear the Q&A while you're at the checkout process. Remember, if you promise to let me use you as a case study, I'll give you this $4,200 course for only $497, but you have to order now. Here's another question. I would love to be a professional speaker, but sometimes I struggle to find the right words. Do you have anything in the course that helps with that? Yes, especially at the beginning, you'll often have to write out what you're going to say and memorize the words. One of the things that I do is I memorize the opening words, sometimes the opening paragraphs, so that everything is pre-planned. There's nothing left to chance. And then you memorize the closing, which again may be several paragraphs, so that when you switch into your close, you know exactly what you're going to say right to the end of the talk. That is the greatest guarantor of grabbing people's attention when you begin and getting a standing ovation at the end. I say this over and over again in the course, is that 90% of success is simply preparation. And if you have mastered any skill at all in life, you can master the skill of public speaking. It's just preparation and repetition until it's automatic and easy. Now here's another question. I can talk to anyone, but if you call on me spontaneously to speak in front of a group, my mind goes blank and I start to ramble on and on. How do I get past this? Well, here's something that used to bother me, is I would be so concerned about what people were thinking about me that my mind would go blank as well. And then I realized that it's not about you, it's about them. So what you do is you think, how can I help these people the very most with my answer? What value can I give them in something that I have learned that has helped me to be better or more effective? And instead of thinking about yourself, think about the other person. What I will do is I'll stand up and I'll say thank you to whoever it is. That is a very good question. And I've thought about that a lot, and let me see if I can answer it intelligently. This is just a way, by the way, for you to fumble for words, for you to prepare. And now you've bought yourself a couple of sentences, and then you begin. In my experience, this is what I have found, and this is what I have done, and it's been helpful to me. Thank you very much. So, but remember, it's not about you, it's about them. Think about them, not you, and all of your nervousness goes away. And I cover dozens of little tips like this in the course. Here's another question. Can I be a part-time professional speaker? Well, that's a great question because most people start off as part-time professional speakers. They decide to be speakers, but they have to keep their day job. And we always tell you, keep your day job until you are earning so much money as a part-time professional speaker that you're earning more money than you're getting paid from your job. And only then can you begin to shift into speaking full-time. Another thing we teach you is the importance of listening to the market. The market will tell you when it's time to shift. The market will tell you by booking you over and over again, so you'll find that the market is actually interfering with your full-time work. And at that point, it's time to shift out. It's time to move into becoming a full-time professional, which is very difficult for people. It's very nerve-wracking because of the comfort zone, but once you do, you will never go back. And we'll show you how to do this throughout the course. My team has just told me that we've already sold 25 of the special bonuses, so if you're going to get in on this, we only have 5 left, and you have to move quickly. And this $500 savings is only going to be available for a couple more minutes. Here's another question. I notice a lot of people selling from stage, and I saw you have a bonus to teach that. Do you actually recommend selling from stage, or is that just an advanced skill? Wow, great question. When I started off speaking, I had nothing to sell from the stage. And people kept coming up to me and saying, do you have this recorded? Do you have this material recorded? And I said, no, it's delivered live. You're supposed to take notes. And finally, I slapped myself upside the head, as we say. I said, geez, my customers are telling me they want this additional product, and they're willing to pay for it. So I borrowed a tape recorder, and I actually recorded it the next time, a professional recorder, and I began to produce it. And I began to make more money from people who bought the audio recording than I was making from the seminar fees. And then I produced another program and another program, and pretty soon I was making vastly more from the product sales than I was from the speaking fees. And many of my speaker friends don't even charge to attend their talk. What they do is they offer it for free, and they offer tremendous value, and then they offer the product at the end, and they sell so much of it that they live in big houses on the hill, and they drive beautiful cars, and they put their kids in private schools. So it's just a skill that you can learn, just like you can learn typing with a keyboard or driving a car. You can learn how to sell from the stage. By the way, we teach you how to do this, and I have taught many, almost countless professional speakers how to sell from the stage, and each of them have told me they doubled and tripled their income the very first time they started to follow these practical techniques, and so will you. So will you. Here's another question. Can I apply your teachings to also virtually speak or sell from stage like you're doing on your webinar today? Of course. What we're talking about is selling, persuasion, negotiation, communicating, developing warmth, rapport, and trust with people so that they like you and believe in you and are open to whatever you recommend to them. So these skills, and by the way, when you are good as a professional speaker, all of your communication and the rest of your life improves dramatically. You have more confidence, you're more fluid, you speak with greater warmth and trust. People like you more. It's the most amazing darn thing. It spreads to every part of your life when you become a good speaker. And so you can be effective in any type of communication, including virtually speaking and virtually training. We're almost getting to the end of the question and answer. Here's a question. I've invested in programs before, and at $997, I was worried about price. But at $497, with a guarantee, I'm about to jump on it. How do I know this is right for me before I jump in? And the answer is, because of our risk reversal, you don't have to worry about it. Take it, try it, use it, see if it's right for you. And if it's not, you have 30 days to make a final decision. And by the way, I've used that as a closing technique in front of hundreds of thousands of people. They say, how can I be sure? I said, you don't need to be. You've got a guarantee. All you have to do is buy the product and try it out. If you don't like it, give it back. And they said, oh, yeah, you're right. There's no risk. And it is a no-risk guarantee. So if you like what you're hearing at any price, by the way, you'll earn the amount of this course back from one speaking engagement. And I've worked with countless people who today earn not only 6 figures, but 7 figures. They earn, a friend of mine just came down here to interview me at the same place where I'm sitting here. She started off as a very competent fitness trainer. She earned $10 million last year from speaking. $10 million. She is so good at speaking. She said, you made my whole life, because I had no idea what I could do in speaking until I sat with you and you trained me in these techniques. So she's making $10 million. I hate to say it, but she's making more than I am. Let's go on to the next question. Well, my team has just told me that we've sold out the basic 30, and so what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to extend the offer for another 15 minutes because we still have some questions to answer. So while we're answering the questions, you have a chance to go and buy the entire program for only $497, and it's unconditionally guaranteed. So here's the next question. Do I have to pay you a percentage of my income earned from speaking after I invest in your course? I have seen others ask for this, and I don't think it's fair. I've seen this as well, by the way, and the people who do it ask for a percentage of your income, and the problem is it's impossible to track. But it's not fair. It's not fair. If people promise to teach you and they teach you, you own that material, just like if you read a book or took a course at the university. That's why we don't ask for anything from your income after you've taken this program. And what you can earn after you've taken this program can be quite extraordinary. Again, it can be life-changing. Another question, are there any third-party costs that I will have to pay other than investing in your course today? And the answer is no. This is 100% complete in every respect. Once you get this program, and you can still get it for $497, there's no third-party payments, there's no upsells or cross-sells. 100% of everything that you get has been described today, and it's guaranteed. So please don't hesitate. Move quickly. Here's the last question. I'm about ready to buy right now if I am in the top 30. But I also sometimes like to know if I can work closer with my mentors or teachers for a fee later. It has done wonderfully for me in the past. If I ever want to work with you in person, is that an option available later on? Well, you're right, the 30 have sold, but you're still guaranteed for the next 15 minutes, so don't worry, you've got lots of time. The answer is that we have an advanced training program where you work with me one-on-one and 11 other speakers for 3 days, all day long, and we videotape every single thing that you do and critique every part of it. Yes, you can work with me afterwards, and you'll find out all the information about that in the workshop and in the members area when you attend the program. Remember, you can have complete confidence in your decision to invest in yourself today because you have my 100% rock-solid satisfaction guarantee. So take your time to enjoy the course and put the proven strategies to work for you in your life and business. If for any reason or no reason at all you're not completely satisfied, just contact us for a full refund. No weasel clauses or hidden meanings here. If you're not happy, then neither are we. My friendly staff will cheerfully return your money and we'll still be friends. That's it. Oh, and remember, to get the slides, just click on the button in the chat. It will take you to the order page, and at the very bottom of that page, I have a link near the site terms that say download slides. You should do that now because this page won't be up forever, as I have stated many times on this webinar. Remember, when you promise that when you enroll today, that when you have success like my other students, that you will contact me and share your story with me. If I can use your success as a case study in the future, I'm willing to reciprocate today for the next 10 minutes only, and only before this webinar ends today, to take off an additional $500 for you so that you can get access to everything that I have shared with you for only $497 one time. That's it. You get the full training course, all the bonuses, the discount of nearly 90% off the value for just $497, and you have access as long as you want, as well as to my 30-day money-back guarantee. You simply can't beat that. But literally, as we are speaking, the sales are flying into our shopping cart. So make sure to act now because we're about to end this webinar, and your chance to get the best offer I have ever given on this course, plus the best bonuses I have ever offered with this. This won't last. The price will eventually go up, and the bonuses will go away. You have nothing to lose, so click that button you see near the chat, and I'll see you on the inside. And down the road sometime, like my other graduates, I hope you come up to me and say that I listened to your webinar and you changed my life. My life was never the same after I took advantage of your offer. And I look forward to seeing you in that time. Thank you.